continuity of Indus civilization. Means there are some scholars who believe that some elements of that civilization were declined, but other elements related to Indus civilization shows their continuity in later period of Indian civilization. Right? So it may be possible question asked on discuss the continuity of Indus civilization. Right? So when we trying to understand about the continuity of Indus civilization, so first you have to understand about continuity of non-material culture. Right? Non-material culture of Indus civilization. And second important thing is continuity of material culture of Indus civilization. Right? Continuity of non-material culture and continuity of material culture of Indus civilization. So in continuity of non-material culture, first about continuity of religious element. Here you have to give attention. Continuity of religious element. Right? So we got evidence about the worship of Mother Goddess. Right? Mother Goddess. So Mother Goddess. Mother Goddess. Continuity of the evidence of Mother Goddess we find from various sites of later Harappan culture. We got evidence about the figures of Mother Goddess from Ahar, Jorwe, Malwa, Jhukar culture. They are the later Harappan culture. So Mother Goddess, worship of Mother Goddess, belief in the worship of Mother Goddess shows their continuity after decline of Harappan civilization. Right? Second important thing is that when you study about Vedic culture, so there was people who live in Vedic period who follow indigenous culture, and their culture was very close with Harappan culture. Right? Their culture was very close to Harappan culture. So in Vedic civilization, Shiva was not a dominant god. Right? But Shiva cult present in India parallel to Vedic culture. Shiva is indigenous god. Right? That present in Indian civilization, in Indus civilization, and that shows their continuity in India in many tribals culture. Right? So Linga worship is also present in Indian indigenous culture after Indus civilization, because in Rig Veda there is a reference about the people who worship Linga, right? And Aryans were hated to that people. If you study about Vedic culture, you find that there was distinction between Aryan and non-Aryan population on the basis of their skin color, on the basis of their custom, their tradition, their worship pattern. So that Shiva cult or cult related to a snake, cult related to people worship, and cult related to Mother Goddess, that all were present in Indian society parallel to Vedic culture in the later period of Indus civilization. Right? Another important thing is that some elements which present in Indus civilization also present in Vedic culture. So there were maybe amalgamation between some cultural tradition of Indus people and cultural tradition of Aryan people. As for example, we got evidence about fire worship, right? Or evidence about fire altars, right? Fire worship was present in Iran, right? In Zoroastrian culture, that was also present in Aryan, right? So fire altars also present in Vedic culture, and we also got evidence about the sacrifice, right, from Indus civilization, and sacrifice also present in Vedic culture, right? And burial practices, this is very important, that shows their continuity, right? Because in Rig Veda we also got evidence about burial practice, right? Full burials and cremation. So that burial practice we find from Indus civilization, that shows their continuity after decline of Indus civilization. So that shows their continuity, and therefore we say that Indus civilization made foundation for the evolution of Hinduism. That element integrated with Hinduism, right? So that shows their continuity. Always remember that the element present, religious element present in Indus civilization, these elements shows their continuity in later period of Indus civilization, or even decline or downfall of Indus civilization, right? Second, in material culture of Indus civilization. So in material culture of Indus civilization, first important thing is that we got continuity of some element related to town planning, right? Element related to town planning. Decline of big town, large town like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, but a medium-sized town like a urban center shows their continuity in later Harappan period. As for example, Daimabad, Inamgaon, Perak, that give us information about, it has some evidence about grid pattern, there are some evidence about fortification, there are some evidence about public building like granary, right? So that shows their continuity. Second important thing is that if you try to observe about craft industry, you got evidence about the craft industry, that craft industry shows their continuity. We got evidence about brick industry in later Harpan period, like Daimabad, Inamgaon, Pirak, Ahar, Gilund, right? We have reference. We have reference about continuity of bronze, copper, silver, gold, precious stone, made ornaments, pottery, all shows continuity, right? And most important thing here, we find continuity about agriculture related element, right? Agriculture related element, that shows their continuity in the later period of Harpan civilization, because those crops produced by Harpan people, that shows their continuity. Their technique for agriculture, that also shows their continuity. Animal, those were present in Harpan civilization, that shows their continuity, right? So all things shows their continuity. That not only we find in later Harpan civilization, but their urban pattern, their house pattern also shows their continuity. In rural area of North India or Northwest India, you find that people made their house and there is a presence of courtyard in the middle of their house, surrounded by 4 or 5 rooms, right? So this model shows their continuity in later period also. We got evidence about the some element related to town planning from Koshambi also, right? So that shows their continuity, right? You can also find a continuity about the element related to art tradition, architecture, sculpture, right? That also shows their continuity. So on the basis of that, you can understand Indus civilization shows their continuity in their later period, right? And therefore, it is the great contribution of Indus people in the history of India, right? So this is continuity of Indus civilization.